Get ready for explosive UFC action. Movsar Evloev battled travel chaos to make it to London, facing down last-minute challenges to step into the octagon for his massive showdown. And UFC commentator Joe Rogan is calling the Tom Aspinall vs. Ciryl Gane fight at UFC 321 a crime. Find out why he thinks Aspinall was busted up before the stoppage. Then, UFC featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski drops his top 5 GOAT list, and you won't believe who he left out and who made the cut. Finally, Aljamain Sterling is weighing in with his prediction for the UFC London main event between Movsar Evloev and Lerone Murphy. Don't miss any of these incredible stories. Subscribe and hit the bell now.
Looking for a fast-charging, ultra-responsive stylus for your iPad? Meet the 2X Fast Charge Active Stylus Pen, designed for 2018 to 2025 Apple iPads. Take your creativity and productivity to the next level. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Travel troubles plague Movsar Evloev, but he's ready to fight. Despite a chaotic journey to London that nearly derailed his fight week, undefeated featherweight Movsar Evloev insists he's unfazed and ready to put on a show at UFC Fight Night 270 against Lerone Murphy. Evloev revealed the significant hurdles he faced getting into England, detailing a fuss with his travel that caused a major delay and fueled his determination. "I wasn't worried about getting here because, trust me, I tried to get here probably more than anybody else in the history of trying to get to London," Evloev stated, emphasizing his commitment. He admitted that the biggest worry wasn't the travel itself, but the potential backlash if he couldn't make it, with many assuming it would be his fault despite his efforts. "The worst thing coming through my head was that, if I'm not going to make it here, then everybody is going to say, well, it's his fault. It would have been not for the fault of my own, because I did everything I could. The rest was out of my hands." Evloev hinted at further undisclosed issues beyond just visas and documents, suggesting a challenging period leading up to the fight that required immense focus. "It's more than just visas and documents and other things that I had to go through in the past couple weeks that I went through, which I do not want to talk about," he said, noting that his focus remained solely on preparation and maintaining composure amidst the distractions. He believes these trials have only made him mentally stronger, ready to prove he's on another level. "What doesn't kill us makes us stronger," Evloev declared. "This is something that helped me out. This is something that made me understand no matter what's thrown at me, I am mentally stronger than all my opponents." Fans are buzzing about Evloev's resilience, with many calling him mentally unbreakable. Analysts are watching closely to see if these pre-fight challenges will fuel his performance against another undefeated contender. Don't go anywhere, we've got more UFC drama unfolding. Next up, Joe Rogan sounds off on a controversial UFC fight stoppage and who he thinks was robbed. Joe Rogan slams UFC 321 stoppage as a crime against Tom Aspinall. UFC color commentator Joe Rogan believes the way Tom Aspinall's fight against Ciryl Gane at UFC 321 was stopped was a crime in the sport. Rogan, speaking on the Joe Rogan Experience, argued that Aspinall was having a difficult time against Gane and was getting busted up before an eye poke led to the premature end of the bout. "It is a crime in the sport that the fight with Aspinall got stopped the way it did, that he eye poked him," Rogan stated. He elaborated that the fight was heading in an interesting direction and that Aspinall struggled to land significant strikes against Gane's legit jab and agile movement. Rogan highlighted Gane's speed and technical prowess, noting that Aspinall, a powerful grappler, was facing a unique challenge against a fighter like Gane. He was getting busted up. He was getting touched up a lot. Cyryl's jab is legit. Rogan also discussed Aspinall's grappling advantage, but observed that Gane's striking and elusiveness presented a different kind of threat. "My thought was, the real problem that Aspinall was going to present is in the grappling, but when he was standing there with Gane, this was the first time that he was ever in front of a guy who was agile and quick and very technical. Gane was doing a lot of sneaky sh*t. The MMA community is divided, with some agreeing with Rogan's assessment of the stoppage and others pointing to the severity of the eye poke. Aspinall remains sidelined, recovering from his injuries, while Gane is set to fight for an interim title. But the GOAT debate is heating up too. Coming up, Alexander Volkanovski reveals his exclusive top 5 UFC legends and the shocking omissions. Alexander Volkanovski's controversial GOAT list, Jon Jones and Khabib Nurmagomedov left out. UFC featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski has revealed his personal top 5 greatest of all time list, and it notably excludes longtime legends Jon Jones and Khabib Nurmagomedov. Volkanovski, speaking on his YouTube channel, explained his choices, emphasizing the level of competition and dominance within different weight classes. "I'm going to be completely honest. Demetrius Johnson," Volkanovski began, citing Johnson's incredible title defense record and the high level of competition in the flyweight division. Georges St-Pierre was his next pick, followed by Islam Makhachev, whom he believes has earned his spot through recent accomplishments. Volkanovski then added Israel Adesanya, acknowledging his impressive wins, particularly against Robert Whittaker, despite recent losses. Anderson Silva, obviously, who's done incredible things as well, rounded out his top 5. Volkanovski also gave honorable mentions to Khabib Nurmagomedov, praising his undefeated record and dominant fighting style, but ultimately felt Islam Makhachev's resume was stronger. "As honorable mentions, you've got Khabib over there as well," Volkanovski said, "but I just think resume-wise, Islam's got him." He reflected on his own intense fights with Makhachev, calling their first encounter his favorite fight despite the loss. This list has ignited a firestorm online, with fans debating Volkanovski's criteria and defending the legacies of Jones and Nurmagomedov. Analysts are dissecting his reasoning, particularly his focus on competition level versus sheer dominance. And the UFC London main event predictions are in. Stay tuned as Aljamain Sterling breaks down Evloev versus Murphy and gives his fight pick. Aljamain Sterling predicts upset in UFC London main event, Murphy over Evloev. Former UFC bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling is looking ahead to the UFC London main event between Movsar Evloev and Lerone Murphy, and he's leaning towards an upset victory for Murphy. Sterling, who has faced Evloev himself, shared his insights on his YouTube channel, highlighting the stylistic matchup and Murphy's strengths. "Here's my thing with Murphy, he fights pretty," Sterling explained. "He's not in there to scrap and get down and dirty. He's looking to make it clean and super technical and go home with his face intact." Sterling contrasted this with Evloev, whom he believes is more willing to engage in a gritty fight and often relies on his grappling. Sterling questioned how Evloev, who hasn't fought since December 2024, will perform after a layoff, especially against a former training partner like Murphy. "Lerone has great kickboxing, great footwork, side-to-side lateral movement, hard to hit, a nice jab." Sterling believes Murphy's defensive capabilities and striking could give Evloev trouble. "All in all, I feel this should be Lerone's fight to win. I wouldn't be surprised if Movsar wins, though. He's a phenomenal talent, great grappler. I just don't know if he'll be able to get to Lerone Murphy to take him down early enough so he's not taking too much damage." Sterling emphasized Murphy's takedown defense and footwork as key factors. Fans are debating Sterling's prediction, with many acknowledging Murphy's skill set but still favoring the undefeated Evloev. The outcome of this pivotal featherweight clash could significantly impact the title picture. What a round of UFC updates. Don't go anywhere, we've got a lightning round recap coming up next. That's a wrap on today's UFC news. We saw Movsar Evloev overcome travel chaos to make it to London, Joe Rogan blasting the UFC 321 stoppage as a crime, Alexander Volkanovski dropping his shocking GOAT list, and Aljamain Sterling predicting an upset in the UFC London main event. Did you enjoy today's breakdown? Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for more exclusive UFC content, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. Let us know your thoughts on these stories in the comments below, and follow us on all social media platforms for behind-the-scenes action and more. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.